Hi, Denise Dryden here. I'm in Columbia Falls doing a live Facebook Live presentation on how do we change our roles when we're in relationship. And I picked this really awesome little coffee house because it's brand new and it's bringing together community, and it's just sort of redefined a lot of roles for different people in the Flathead County and sort of in the mountain area and all of that. So I thought this was a great place to do this vlog. So and we're going to hear lots of traffic because we're at the Gateway. This is one of the last big towns before you go into Glacier National Park. So this is where everybody travels. So it's going to be kind of fun. So let's explore roles. You know, when we look at a role, I looked it up. Of course, you know, I'm always going to do these dictionary things so that we have a context for an agreement on what do you think a role is and what am I saying a role is and what are we going to do with that. So a role is a part we play. It's an assigned or assumed thing that someone puts on you or that you put on yourself, right? It's an expected pattern of behavior or a behavior pattern. It's a position or purpose in a situation. So when we take on a role, you know, according to Webster's, it's the comprehensive pattern of behavior that is socially recognized, a means of identifying an individual in society. So it's sort of like we have a lot of different roles, and whenever we put one on, it's a way for society to sort of circle around and latch on and go, oh, I know Denise in that context. I know, you know, so-and-so in that context. And so all of it's about what we do when we create context. So, of course, you know, we can be a child, a son or a daughter. We can be a parent. We can be a family member, whether it's a brother or a sister, an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent, a cousin, you know, a godmother, a stepfather, you know, you name it. In the community, we can be a neighbor, a friend, a volunteer, a leader. You know, so play with it and start to find out what kind of roles you do play. At work, are you a boss, an owner, a co-worker, a client? And then I like the idea that our roles can also be around our passions. Like, you know, I'm a paddleboarder. You know, I'm a hiker. I'm a camper. I am a vlogger. You know, so there's things that provide context. And because these roles are based on a pattern of behavior, meaning that they're something that they see over and over again and they associate us with that role, it means that we have this sort of aligned relationship with the people who see us that way. In other words, you know, we present ourselves like I'm the mom, and then I have 3 kids that line up around that, and I have different people in the community that line up around Denise being the mother, or Denise being the coach, or Denise being the, you know, the woman who lives in the 3rd floor of the apartment. You know, whatever that is, those are the rules that everything is in alignment around that. So it makes sense that when we are addressing roles, that it's like we have to take into consideration, you know, I'm going to go shift. I'm going to do something different. And I realize that this entire world that's interwoven like a spider web is going to shift with me. And that shift is going to be hard for me and easy for them, or easy for me and really hard for them, or anything that you can imagine. That makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. So some of the things that I've addressed in coaching with the clients, and I thought I would give you some ideas of what happens when we shift roles, is empty nesting. You know, when kids leave home, when there's graduations, when there's college, and in my case, when there's placement out of the home and there's like this emptiness and it's too soon, too early. Embracing growth and change, you know, releasing some of those moving parts, and what happens when we have to let go and close off something that doesn't work anymore, but like step towards something that does, right? How to address it, how to communicate, how to be clear. This is where I'm going and this is what it's going to look like, and I'd love it if you came with me, and if you can't, that's okay too. Parenting, how to be present, available, create boundaries, and do that kind of essential self-care. Letting go. What do you do when you have to let go of a job or a relationship, or an expectation that no longer works, right? Let go of how you manage others, maybe the helicopter mom. What happens when you allow completion, like I'm done? I actually believe at this point now I'm done. to stop chasing. And this is a really big one, is what happens if our entire relationship is always about going after somebody, making sure that they're okay, paying attention, following you, giving you the bonus, you know. I call that chasing. And when we're chasing, how do we switch to let others come to us, right? How do we trust ourselves and let others come to us? And you can tell this is a really busy place, so it's kind of fun. And then how do we deal with issues? Issues that come up in relationship, like avoidance, exhaustion, conflict, tension. And then how do we create proactive solutions? Because again, when we take on something that needs to change, a role that we have, and we need to shift it, it means that we have to find out how to take others with us, or how to do that ourselves, right? So I think it starts with envisioning. Like, this is where I am, and I've been in a rut, and I'm going over and over and over again. And as Alan Seale addresses in the 4 levels of engagement, and that's a video that you can go back and watch, is, you know, we get to make a choice. That choice is, who do I want to be? What role do I want to play? What would that new role look like? What would it feel like? What would it actually feel like in my body? And then go stand in it and go like, what if I'm really moving out of the chaotic woman to the calm, wise woman, right? And if I'm wise, what does it feel like to be wise? What does it feel like to be calm? And then allow yourself to connect to that, right? Because once you connect to it, then it's a lot easier to bring that into form for the others around you. So the next thing is try it on, play with it, get used to it. Start to share it with other people. Like, you know what? I'm going to start working on being the calm woman, calm, wise woman. And then number 3 is let your relationships know that they're going to need to realign. Like, and this is crucial because sometimes with a kid who's used to watching an erratic reaction, you know, I can do this to mom and mom's going to do this back. I'm going to do this and this is going to happen. When we step out and we take on a new role, like I'm calm and I'm not going to react, they're like, what's going on? Mom just changed something, right? Or when you're an employee and someone's like, here, do this, here, do this, here, do this, and you go, no, actually, I don't have time to do that. I'm going to pass that back to you, and this is what I'm working on right now. They can get really angry. They can get really impressed. They can get a lot of things, but they have to realign, and that's the part that I want us to know, is that they have to realign and reform around a new role. They can be supportive. They can be in resistance, or they can even be timid, like, I don't know what's going on. Hi guys. I'm doing a video vlog, so just keep walking, that's okay. Hello. And and so the last one is, how do you hold strong and lead? You know, lead. Like, I know this is difficult. I'm trying on a different way of being. I'm changing myself. And I realize that this is going to be really different for you. And that you're going to rock and you're going to have some resistance. And yet, I think this is the only way that I want to be. So it's, you know, what I'm really getting at is that when we shift our roles, it takes courage. It takes courage to know that this repetitive pattern, this loop that we've been in the whole time is going to change, right? And when it changes, those around us are going to change with it, whether they want to or not. And sometimes when they change, it's either going to be really good, it could be really bad, or it could be everything in between. And it requires that we are aware that all of this exists at the same time. So this is what I do as a coach. And if you have questions or would you like more information, you can always find me on DeniseDrydenCoaching.com. And from here, I'm going to go in and have breakfast. I've got my coffee already from the wonderful Azul Coffee with Matt Broussard. And have a great Sunday and enjoy yourself. Take care. Bye-bye.